If you've ever wondered how to find products that actually make money on Amazon, then this is the video for you. I've scaled my Amazon FBA business to over $3 million in revenue per year. And the one thing that makes or breaks your business is product analysis. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I analyze products before I buy and sell them. The same framework I use every single day in my store. By the end, you'll know how to spot winners, avoid bad buys, and build a product catalog that scales month after month. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it. So first, we're going to start with the core criteria for product analysis. So when I look at products, I don't just ask, can I make money on this? I ask, will this keep selling and stay profitable by the time this gets into Amazon? Because you got to remember, after we order a product, there's still that delay of shipping, prepping, and then getting it into Amazon fully checked in and Prime eligible. So first thing I look at is the sales rank. This is your BSR. So I'm going to switch over to this Amazon listing, and this is the BSR right here. Now, this number matters, but it doesn't matter too much because we have this estimated sales and the sales bought in the past month right here. So this tells us it's selling 700 times in the past month. The BSR is 13K, which is in the top 1% of the category that this is in, which this is in patio, lawn, and garden. So far, so good. This looks good. So demand, I check the Keepa, make sure the sales are steady. You want to make sure people are actually buying this product, just like the BSR and checking the sales per month. But we want to see if this has been selling year round at the same pace or if it falls off. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So we go down to the Keepa chart and we have this middle graph right here. This yellow line is going to tell us how many times this sold in the last month. So we can zoom out to the yearly chart to get an accurate reading. So we can see that it fluctuates from 400 all the way up to 1,000 all throughout the year. And it goes up and down along with the price. So what this tells me is that it sells better during certain seasons. So right here, 1,000 sold during March, April through May, and it keeps selling really, really well through like July. Why is that? So this is a silk plant treatment. People grow plants in the summer. Obviously, there's greenhouses and stuff and ways to grow plants outside of season, but this is when it's primarily used. This is what the data is telling us. Check the data and then cross-check the product and just think to yourself, hey, why does this sell more during a certain time of the year? Same thing if you're looking at pumpkin in October. Everybody's drinking pumpkin coffee and it sells way more in October compared to if it was being sold in June or July. Not as many people are drinking pumpkin spice. Of course, there's going to be people out there drinking it, but it's going to sell better in October. So this tells us it is selling seasonal, but overall, it still keeps a good amount of sales year round. The lowest we saw was 400 a month. Okay, next, buy box rotation. Who controls the buy box? We need to know that. So there's two ways to do this. Your first way is going back up to SellerAmp, scroll all the way down, and you'll see this little chart that says buy box analysis. So this is over the 30, 90, 180 days or all time. So over the past 90 days, we can see that one person dominated the buy box about 44% of the time, and then it's pretty evenly spread across this little pie chart. So let's look over the all time if it's gonna update. Did look like it wants to update. Okay, so now we're on the all time, and it's a pretty evenly spread pie chart of who's getting this buy box, with Amazon getting it 25% of the time, average price one at $10.73. But over the last 90 days, it doesn't look like Amazon had a big chunk. Even in the last 180, Amazon really didn't have a chunk. So we don't have too much to worry about. Amazon's this orange box, and they've been on and off the listing sporadically. So this listing's not dominated by Amazon. It's mostly third-party sellers like us. So the second way to check the buy box rotation is go to data on Keepa and buy box statistics. This is going to give you the same thing, except it's going to tell you all the seller storefronts. We can pull it up to 90 days and we can see how this was spread. The buy box was spread across each seller from who won it the most to who won it the least. It tells you their average price they've won the buy box at. It tells you their storefront, how much they've had in stock, their reviews and ratings, and the last time they won the buy box. Now, there are a couple red flags we can get into. So one of those is if Amazon dominates the buy box the entire time. Now, you can still hop on those listings where Amazon dominates the buy box, but usually if you want to earn the buy box over Amazon, you need to have really good margins and be able to undercut Amazon's price by at least 2 to 5% so you can get the buy box. But be very careful even if you are about to compete with Amazon, because they can follow your price all the way down until they feel like stopping. So make sure you have enough margin to sell this at a significantly lower price just in case Amazon decides to follow your price down. Now, if it's a third-party seller that's dominating the buy box for a long time, this could be a brand direct or a private label listing. Just do a little bit of extra research, see if that brand is owned by the seller dominating the buy box, or see if that's a brand direct just by looking up the company, doing a little extra research of that seller. And now we have our profit margins. So I like to see at least 30% ROI. That's my bare minimum. I do 20 to 25% ROI if I can move volume and it makes sense. At the end of the day, it just matters if it's a good investment on your capital and how fast you can turn that. If I can make $1,000 on a single product at 20% ROI in a month, I'm probably going to do that because I have enough capital to support that decision. Now, in your early phases, you want to start on products that are 30 to 100% ROI or more. Just focus on products that are going to give you more bang for your buck before you put it towards those lower ROI products. There are always better products out there. It's just a matter of time whether you find them or not. So what I do to do that is I just go up to SellerAmp. It makes it so easy. We actually found this product for $5.60. The current buy box is at $16.99. Now we can see this is on a price spike. That's a business price. So it looks like our buy box is actually at $17.90 right now. So let's go ahead and plug in $17.90. And that's actually really, really good. It makes us $3 a unit, almost 17% profit margin with a 54% ROI. Now that's after all fees. And we can go down in SellerAmp and scroll down to total fees under our profit calculator, and it'll give us our total fee breakdown. Obviously mine might look a little different from yours because I have prep fee, different inbound shipping, and minimal placements on. So it might give you a little bit of a different number, but just make sure it makes sense. You want to be making at least $2 to $3 profit minimum per item. Depends on the ROI. And like I said before, if you can make at least $50 a month on a SKU, it's probably good as long as it meets your ROI criteria. If I can sell 50 items for $1 each and I paid $2, so it's 50% ROI, I'm gonna do it. So there's much more to it than just this product analysis. So let's keep on going. If you're getting value so far, make sure to hit that like button. It helps push the video out to more people. And if you want me to personally walk you through how to find and analyze products just like this, step by step, check the link in the description to apply for my one-on-one mentorship program. So now we have our tools and data. Now, Amazon FBA is a data-based business. I'm not guessing. I'm not using my opinions to make money. I'm looking at data and I'm making money from that data. Now, there are only two tools that I use, and that's Keepa and SellerAmp. Keepa's the charts. That's exactly what I just showed you to see price history, sales per month, etc. SellerAmp is just your price calculator, runs your margins and all that nice stuff. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out Keepa. So there's more things that we need to go in depth on before we make our purchase. So we got our buy cost in SellerAmp. We know how profitable it is at that one price, but there's a little more we need to look at. So when we scroll down to the Keepa, obviously it shows us at 54% at that $17.90 buy box we got right here. But if we go down, we need to look at the 3-month chart. I personally like looking at the 3-month and the yearly chart to make the best informed buying decision. So right now, it looks like this item usually sells at $13.60, spikes up to like $14.75. So there are sales being made there. And now we are on a big price spike at $18.59, $17.90. Hasn't been selling it like that for a while now. So what does this mean? Well, it could mean many things. There's a clear trend in the data, which we'll get to, but we got to keep looking in the past. So we're going to zoom out to the yearly chart. So now we see these fluctuations and dips, and we can get a more accurate picture of the trends going on in this data. So let's go ahead and break this down piece by piece so you can get an accurate understanding of my thought process when I'm breaking down a lead before I buy it. So we'll start back here in November of 2024. So at the bottom, we have our offers. This is your competition. How many people are on the listing? So we come over here in November and it's selling for about $16.34, $16.20. And it's pretty consistent, right? The sales per month, we have our BSR chart right here and it's going up and down, and then it went up during the winter season. It looks like the price went down a tiny bit to $15.50. Along with this volume right here, it went down from 800 to 400 within about 1 to 2 months. Now that's because this product was probably out of season. So then in January, it looks like a lot of competition hopped onto this listing and the price significantly dropped all the way to like $12.50 range. And you could see the sales sped back up all the way to 1,000. Now, why did this happen? Well, the sales per month went up because of the price decrease. This product performs better at $12.50 compared to $15. Another reason is it was slightly coming into season, but the main factor that drove these sales is the price. Now, the reason I know that the price is the factor causing this volume to rise is right here. After March, April rolls around, the competition drops off, the price comes back up to around $14.80 to $15, and the sales per month goes down a little bit. We also see a BSR uptrend, which indicates slowing down sales. So the competition came off, and then we had a little competition spike right here, and it fell off more, and then it came right back up right around here, and the price came back down. So it looks like with this lead, we just have to be a little careful with the competition because this lead cannot handle that much competition. This is probably due to people buying it in bulk and having way too much stock, and they're trying to offload more stock than other sellers, which in return causes price tanking. And now this brings us to where we're at this week with the data. So we can see about 2 weeks ago, this was at like $14.99, $14.50, and now we only have 7 offers on this listing. So the price is going back up. Now we're at $17.90. Yes, it's probably still making sales, but it's probably slowing down. Now I say probably, but it's definitely, because we can see right here on September 1st, it was selling 900 times a month at this $13.50 to $14.50 range. Now, when the price started going up, we can already see this went down to 800, 700, and it even dipped down to 600 for a second. And I wouldn't be surprised if this sells a lot slower than it is now because we have that positive BSR trend, which is going to cause sales to slow down. So we can kind of see the BSR is almost matching this area right here. Right here, this peak is almost matching with right here. We're going to be down at like 700 and probably closer to 500 sooner. If it keeps that amount, it's going to be around that 500 mark. So this is exactly what I talk about. If the Keepa chart looks like a roller coaster, you need to be careful because we don't want to buy in right here and end up selling right here once all our stuff checks in. We want to buy on the good opportunity. So for example, when these offers start to downtrend, that's when you want to buy the product. You want to buy on the downtrend. You're not going to be able to catch it at the perfect timing. It's just a matter of time when you can ship those products in and try to catch this lead before the uptrend or the offer spike starts to happen. So right now we're in that downtrend. This might be a good time to buy this product, but there's another thing we have to look at. So yes, it can sell at $17.90. That's why we have it in Keepa, but we need to make sure we're going to be safe in case we catch an offer spike right here and we end up in this zone right here at that $12.30 mark. So what we're going to do is calculate our risk to reward. What we do is we go up to SellerAmp and we say, okay, well, over the year, this hit like a low price of $12.40. Let's say $12.40. So what's the worst that could happen if we sell for $12.40? In this case, if we got it for $5.60, we're going to lose almost $2 a unit, $1.66. Now, I do not like this. We do not want negative 30% ROI as our worst case scenario. So SellerAmp has this great feature that also tells you your break even. So in order to break even, lose absolutely no money after fees, we need to sell this for $14.36. So now we go back down to the graph and we say, okay, how often are we stuck at break even, or can we sell it higher than that? Because we clearly need to make some money. It looks like it performs very well in that $14 range, and I don't like it, to be honest. This whole range right here was all in the 14, 15s, and that still doesn't leave us with enough profit. Because even if we come up to $15, we're at 55 cents profit per unit, which is terrible. On this product, we're looking to make at least $2.50 or a little more. So let's see what we need to make this lead decent. So even at 16, we're at 25%. I would not sell something for 9% margin. I like at least 15% or more margin. So let's see what we need. Maybe $17 will work. $17 is good. $16.50 is probably my cutoff. I would do this if I could move volume. Like I said, if you can make 50 bucks a month off this, it's solid. So we need to sell right around 25 to 30 units. And that's very doable with that amount of competition and 700 sold in the past month. So we go down and look at this, but we need to move at least 30 units at $16.50 or higher. So let's see how many times this was selling at $16.50 or higher and when and how it occurred. So in the past 3 months, it looks like it pretty much hasn't sold that high, except for recently within the last 2 weeks. Now, this is good, but it's too risky. If this was our break-even line right here, it might make a little more sense, but this is all lose money line. With 15 to 20 offers at 900 sales in a month, it should be able to handle the volume to where the price isn't being beaten into the ground. So this is not a good look for me. It's definitely a red flag. Now, in order for me to buy back into this lead, see, this is what healthy competition looks like. We have 800 sales per month with 10 offers over here, and the price wasn't significantly getting slammed into the ground. Now, when all these offers came up, people just slammed it into the floor. Now, another thing is people could be getting a cheaper price than you. Never leave that option off the table. These people may be in the profit. We don't know what they're paying, but what we're paying, we need it to make sense with the data. Do not buy anything that's significantly below break even in the graphs, and that's going to be the main thing that'll cause you to lose money. Just don't buy something that's too risky. There are millions of products out there that you can buy. So we already went over SellerAmp. It tells us ROI, profit. It tells you your eligibility. That's one thing I missed. That's right up here. It tells you if you're ungated or not. So yes, we are approved. If you're not approved to sell it, there's going to be a button under alerts and eligibility. It'll say gated or restricted. Hit manual ungate, and you can see if you can submit your invoice to get approved. Now, the last thing, we pretty much just covered it, is the false positives. That's the products that look great, but the data says otherwise. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the prime product for this explanation. So right now we see it's at $17.90, and it looks great if we put $17.90 in, but we're not going to sell it at $17.90 for a long period of time. This could drop back down to that $14, $15 range, just like this. So that's how fast you could lose money. You want to buy this price based off of, okay, I could probably sell this around $15. And $15, we already went over it. That's disgusting. And that brings me on to my next point. Losing money comes with risk management. So this is where a lot of people fail. You don't manage your risk, or you don't even analyze your risk. I have rarely lost money on Amazon, but when I do, it's usually not out of my control. There are many variables we can control though. So that's what we're going to focus on. So first things first, we want to avoid Amazon dominated listings. As I've said before, if Amazon is dominating a listing and does not share that buy box, you are going to have to significantly undercut them. If you cannot do that, do not try to compete with them. They will not let you get any sales. You will not make any money, and you're going to be stuck holding inventory. But if you can compete with Amazon, you have great margins. You can compete. Just go light, make sure you can get buy box, and then if you can replenish. And also, it's better to be safe than sorry. So what I mean by that, don't buy too many units on your initial run. If you're not sure about the data or sure about a product, go light and be glad that you went light and it worked out well, than going deep and it not working out in your favor and learning the hard way by losing money. I would rather much sit here in the profit saying, dang, I should have bought way more, compared to sitting here, I bought way too much and now it's a bad buy, and it sets you back a step. This business is all about compounding profits, so you do not want to take a loss when you don't have to. Next thing, checking for IP complaints and restrictions. So this is a tricky one. Now, SellerAmp does have it in the alerts tab, so we can see that it says IP analysis, no known IP issues. And with my personal experience using SellerAmp to determine IP complaints, it's completely awful. This software is managed by a seller, just like me and you, and it's a company. They are putting these IP complaints on there to scare sellers off these listings so they have less competition. So take it with a grain of salt. My best advice to know if something's IP complaint, just open the chart, open the data, go to all time, and see if there are sharp drops. It will look like a knife falling off. So let's say we were right here in this data, it would look pretty much like this. This isn't an IP complaint. This is just a glitch in data. But when you see something like this, it went from 17 to 7, but we're looking for like 34 to 1. And then you see one dominant seller. That's a red flag IP complaint. It can risk your account. Don't hop on listings with those sharp drops. Another thing you need to be careful is the brand selling the product. So if you're selling the brand Rogue and Rogue is the only seller on the listing, they may not IP you, but you're still running that risk competing against the brand, taking their direct sales. You're just asking for an IP complaint, and it can and will happen. At the end of the day, you want to protect your account health at all costs. Now, lastly, we have replenishables and one-offs, and I have my own opinion on this. So a lot of people don't like the one-off flips. So let's say you could only get like 100 units of these and it was a one-time sale. I'm not saying don't buy it. It's great money, because if we can buy, let's say we could sell this at $18. If I could buy 100 of these on a one-time sale, I'm going to make a quick $300 in 30 days. That's simple. But replenishables aren't always available for online arbitrage. That's more the wholesale-based business model. Yes, you can replenish these every month, but there's a reason you can do that. They're just not as profitable, because they would just raise their prices. They would make more money if they knew how much you were making. Usually wholesale margins are much lower than online arbitrage, but you need products to scale every single month. Now, I don't have a ton of replens. I don't do a replenishable business model. I don't do a ton of wholesale. I do mostly online arbitrage, solely because it's the most profitable business model. Now, where the scale happens is setting up these systems so you can consistently find these products and not get stuck in a lull or a dry season and not have products to spend money on. But when you do find replenishables with online arbitrage, they're usually not your heavy hitters, because these products that you can buy over and over and over again and they're the same price online, eventually more people are going to find them and they're going to ruin that replenishable item. I have a good example. Back in 2023, there wasn't a lot of competition, and I would buy a lot of replenishable items, especially grocery, off of Walmart. And eventually, over 3 to 4 months, these products all died because because the competition rose. Everyone found these same products. They were replenishing them as well. And the prices just went into the floor. They're no longer profitable. They're like permanently tanked. People keep buying them and selling them for no ROI, just to farm reviews, I guess. But the replenishables are not where you want to go for online arbitrage. If you're looking for that, wholesale is the way to go. I have done some wholesale. I don't really do a ton of it just because it's not the most profitable, but I can help you out with that if you need it. But we're going to focus on online arbitrage. Now, lastly, this is all about scaling. So here's the things I take into consideration when you are scaling your business, whether it's from 10 to 100K, 50 to 200K, whatever you want to do. So a single product is not going to change your life. If you find one banger, something that's going to make you $1,000 on a month, it's not going to change your life because it's not going to stick around. You need to have the systems and the knowledge to be able to keep doing this over and over and over again. You need to find 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 products that are going to make you a couple hundred to thousands of bucks a month. So here we have our small wins. Our small wins are what compound and really make up this big profit number that you want to see. Even $200 a month profit products stack into 6 figures annually. Now, you don't even need to worry about $200 a month. As I always say, I preach this a lot. The minimum I like to make off of a product in a month is $50. So if I can sell a product over the span of 30 days and make $50, that is a green flag product. That is something you want to buy. If you find 10 products like that, that's an extra $500 a month. If you find 100 of them, that's $5K a month. And these products are everywhere. I can't tell you how many times I see people skip over these products because they're like, oh, it doesn't make enough money. It doesn't make sense. If you can make $2 a day passively, you put a label on it, send it into Amazon, and then it makes you $50 at the end of the month. You can do that 10 more times and make another 500. Think about what $500 could do for you a month. That's a car payment. That's your insurance. That's bills. That's food. It can do so much. Don't skip over these products. If it makes you $50 in 30 days, buy it. The people who do not scale are the ones who are stuck at 10K a month, wondering why they can't get past it, and they're skipping out on thousands of products because they're like, oh yeah, this lead sucks. It makes no money. It only sells 50 times a month. Bro, it doesn't matter. Stack the wins. These small wins stack up, and that's exactly how I got here. That's exactly how other people got to the same place. You can't ignore that stuff. Next, VAs. VAs are crucial to your Amazon business. You are not going to be able to sit behind your computer screen and source for 12 hours a day, or yet 8 hours a day, and manage every other little task in your business by yourself. So this is probably the easiest thing to start outsourcing with Amazon. And basically what they do is they go and source products when you are sleeping, while you are at your job, while you are working on other tasks. And they're not just guessing. They learned all of the product research framework that I taught them. I taught them my sourcing routines, what I like in a product, what I don't like in a product. So basically I took my brain and I did copy paste to 4 more people over in the Philippines, and they source while I'm sleeping. So every day I wake up, I have 10, 20, 30 leads a day that I can review, and at least half of them or more are profitable. And that is equal to making money in your sleep. And in turn, that means I have to source less, allowing me to spend my time on more valuable tasks, such as building systems to make this all run more smooth and automated. And the last thing we got is discipline. So every time you pass on a bad product, this is protecting your capital. You don't want to lose money. Losing money on Amazon is just going to backtrack you. It's going to take you longer to hit that first 10K month or hit your 100K month. You cannot lose money. It's very rare that I've lost money on a product due to price tanking, because you can honestly just spot it every single time. It's very predictable and it doesn't happen out of the blue. If you look at the data, you analyze it properly, you can avoid 99% of the mistakes that all these beginners are making. People just get very hyped up when they see this and it looks green. They're like, oh, well, good to go. And they haven't even looked at the Keepa. You'd be surprised. I've even met people that don't have Keepa. You cannot run this business without Keepa. You're just gambling. Now, to stack on top of discipline is the amount of time you spend getting good at product analysis. I spent 8 to 10, 12 hours a day in the beginning trying to get good at this. Now, a lot of people aren't going to have that amount of time, but you can still compound your small wins. If you do 2 hours every single day, it might take you another month compared to someone that put 6 to 8 hours into it, but it doesn't matter because you're still going to hit that end result. It's just a matter of time. Stay disciplined, learn the material, and then put it to work. If you lose money on a product, go back at the Keepa chart and look at why you lost money. The data will tell the story. If you made a lot of money, more than you anticipated, go back and see what went even better than you anticipated. The data will tell you everything. Don't just sell what's cool and what's shiny and what's trending. Focus on the data. That's what they have Keepa product finder for, and you can literally put in exactly piece by piece what parts of data you do and don't like, and you can pull up products that match that exact criteria. And that's one of my #1 sourcing methods. So that's exactly how I analyze products for my $3 million a year Amazon FBA store. Now, remember, winning on Amazon isn't about finding one crazy product. It's about stacking consistent, profitable products over time and only buying what the data supports. If you want to go deeper and have me personally guide you step by step, apply for my one-on-one program. You can find the link in the description. And don't forget to subscribe. I post new Amazon FBA content weekly to help you scale. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.